The Connesta Cloud Control Room has two parts. One is the setup area, where the program manager defines all the parameters of the program. The second part is the director application, which manages in real time what the viewer sees. Let's start by taking a look at the director application. The director application enables the director to control the cloud-based control room. It shows him all the sources defined in the setup stage, and to decide in real time what source or combination of sources will be broadcast to the viewers. The director application is actually divided into 4 sections. The first section is the program on the upper right side of the interface. Any source we place in this section will be broadcast to the viewer's screen. The other section up here on the left is the preview. The preview is where the director can prepare a source or a combination of sources to be moved later on into the program. We use this to avoid building the scene in real time where the viewer sees what you're doing. The lower part of this interface is the sources working tray display. Any type of source, whether coming from a camera, a VOD file, or graphics, can be placed in the working tray below and controlled by the director. Control is managed by clicking the program button of each source and moving the source into the program section. When we move the source into the program section, the picture and audio of this source are transmitted to the Kaltura player over the internet. We can place sources directly from the working tray into the program. However, if we want to build a more sophisticated combination, we need to use the preview. For example, if we build a 2-source layout, we need to build it right here up in the preview pane. We select the 2-source layout below the preview section, and now we drop each of the sources that we want to include into the preview section. When it's ready, we hit the broadcast button on the top to move it into the program. Here, the audio will actually be a mixed combination of sound from the 2 sources. We can control the audio and the video of each of the sources either by using mute, volume, or the solo setting, and we can move each source's video to the program or to the preview. The 4th section on the left side is the source bar. This is the section where we find additional sources that were defined in the setup. From there, the director can select multiple sources to move into the program or to the preview. As an example, we can see VOD files that have been defined in the setup or the titles that we defined in the setup. We can select one of the titles and move it from the navigation pad into the program. It's displayed right there, and we can remove it if we want to do that as well. So, the 4th section provides us with more than 8 sources that are displayed in the working tray below. Now, after login, we get the Connesta Control Room Setup display. On the right side here, we have the account setup area. One of the account's options is Video Platforms, and Kaltura is already defined there. When we enter the partner ID, the administration secret, and the user ID, we enable the Connesta Control Room to connect directly with the Kaltura system, either for fetching the files or for recording the files that we used during the real-time broadcasting into the Kaltura servers. Once we've defined the interface with Kaltura for each account, we can start building programs and interface with Kaltura sites for our program. If we take, for example, the program that we've already defined, we see here that the program parameters are opened and displayed. One of the options is to add sources, or to see what the sources are. When we add sources, we have the option to name them. Here we can say, for instance, New York Times. And the source type. Here it's a VOD file, which indicates the type of file that we're going to be entering into the system. Over here on the left, we already have the Kaltura option, so we can fetch the file from the Kaltura site and send it directly into the Connesta control room. After we hit the Kaltura button, it takes us directly and automatically into the content section of the Kaltura site for this account. Here we can select from a list of files that are here in order to download them into the Connesta control room. Selecting one of the files automatically starts a download to get it into Connesta. Once we've downloaded it, it's in the Connesta Cloud control room. When the program starts, it's ready to be used by the director. Once we've defined all the sources of the program, we follow up by defining other parameters. For instance, we have to define where to broadcast the program. It could be a generic broadcast server where we put in a URL, or it could be a Kaltura server with predefined parameters which we set during the account setup. Same goes for the recording. When the program is finished, we can save the program into either the Connesta site, or we can go into the Kaltura site and store it there. Once these are all set, we can now run the program.